大家好, I'm Martin, and welcome to Short Stories, brought to you by the National Taichung University of Science and Technology Language Center. Today's short story is called The Gingerbread Man. This is an American folk tale that was first published in St. Nicholas Magazine in 1875. It tells the story of an arrogant pastry who escapes from the bakery. This classic American children's story has been rewritten and retold multiple times, and today I will put my spin on it. Before I start reading, though, I will tell you the vocabulary and example sentences. After I have finished reading the story, I will ask you 4 listening comprehension questions. Let's go. Vocabulary. Bakery. Bakery. My sister buys bread at the bakery every morning. Confectionery. Confectionery. The hotel served drinks and confectionery to its customers. Ma'am. Ma'am. How may I help you, ma'am? Anxious. Anxious. I am anxious to hear the results of the election. Fetch. Fetch. The dog fetched the stick after I threw it. Collide. Collide. The 2 ships collided in the harbor. Soggy. Soggy. After 15 minutes, my cereal became very soggy. Dough. Dough. The baker kneaded the dough for a long time. The story. There was once a childless old woman who owned a bakery. She was happy with her work, but she was lonely. Every day she sold little cakes and muffins to the local children and wished she had a child of her own. Oh, how I wish I had a sweet little boy to run around my home, she said. Just then, a little elf popped out of her oven. Hello there, he said cheerily as he dusted the ashes off his clothes. Did I hear you make a wish? The old woman was shocked to see an elf in her house, but interested in what it had to offer. Can you make that wish come true? She asked. Of course. All you need to do is to bake a confectionery in the shape of a child and add my secret ingredient, the elf said as he handed the woman a small bottle. Thank you, kind elf. How can I repay you? Said the old woman. No thanks, needed, ma'am. I'm just doing my job, replied the elf as he smiled. The old woman couldn't help but notice his sharp teeth. The elf bowed low, jumped back into the oven, and was never seen again. The old woman knew exactly what to use to make her new child. Gingerbread. It was her favorite when she was young. She quickly prepared the ingredients: flour, water, ginger, and syrup. After mixing all the ingredients in a big bowl, she then formed the dough into the shape of a man. She even added 2 almonds as eyes. Finally, she added 1 drop of the magic ingredient the elf had given her. Once the gingerbread man was in the oven, she realized how tired she was and took a nap. While the old woman was sleeping, she dreamt of a little boy who wanted to play with her. She was happily enjoying this dream when she was woken by a loud banging sound coming from her oven. The old woman was worried that she had overslept and had burnt her new son. As soon as she opened the oven door, a little gingerbread man popped out. Wow, it was hot in there, said the gingerbread man. The old woman was relieved that she had not burnt her son. Oh, aren't you the sweetest thing? Come here and give me a hug, she said as she reached out both of her arms. No thanks, said the gingerbread man, and he ran under a chest. The old woman was very anxious to hold her gingerbread son in her arms, so she woke up her cat, Mouser, and told her to go under the chest and bring out the cookie boy. The cat stretched and lazily walked across the kitchen to the chest. But no sooner had the cat stuck its head under there did the gingerbread man rush out of the other side and run to the open door. As he ran outside, he looked back over his shoulder and cried, Run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. Once the gingerbread man was outside, he saw the old woman's dog resting under a big tree next to the garden wall. The old woman wasn't far behind, and she yelled to her dog, Towser, Towser, fetch that gingerbread man. Fetch, boy. The dog heard the word fetch and knew exactly what to do. It ran right for the gingerbread man. The gingerbread man saw a stick that was resting against the garden wall. He quickly climbed it, and once he was on top of the wall, he picked up the stick and waved it in the air. Fetch, boy, fetch, he said as he threw the stick towards the old woman. The dog changed directions and ran after the stick, colliding with the old woman and the cat, who were both running towards the gingerbread man. Crash! All three were on the ground. The gingerbread man laughed and said, Ha ha! Run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. He then jumped off the wall and kept running. It wasn't long before the gingerbread man reached a river. It was much too wide for him to jump across, and he couldn't swim because he would get soggy and fall apart. While he was standing on the riverbank, wondering what to do, he heard the dog barking and the old woman shouting. They were still chasing him. The gingerbread man became very worried. Just then, a fox appeared. It said, You look lost. Do you need any help? The gingerbread man, who did not know anything about foxes, said, I need to get across this river, but I don't know how. Could you show me to the nearest bridge? I'm in quite a hurry. The fox smiled and replied, Don't worry, I can take you across on my back. The gingerbread man accepted the fox's offer and thanked him. The fox started swimming across the river with the gingerbread man on his back. The farther the fox swam, the higher the water got. Oh no, shouted the gingerbread man as his feet got wet. I'm going to get soggy and fall apart. The fox looked back and said, Oh, we can't let that happen. Why don't you climb onto my neck? The gingerbread man climbed onto the fox's neck. The fox swam a little farther and the water got even higher. Oh no, yelled the gingerbread man, I'm going to get wet. We can't let that happen, replied the fox. Why don't you climb onto my head? The gingerbread man climbed onto the fox's head. The fox was now swimming in the middle of the river, and the water was up to his ears. Oh no, cried the gingerbread man, my feet are damp. The fox smiled slyly and said, We can't let that happen. Why don't you climb onto my nose? The gingerbread man, who thought he was so clever, didn't see what was about to happen. No sooner did he climb onto the fox's nose than the fox threw him into the air and caught him in his mouth. Crunch! The fox ate the gingerbread man. As the fox climbed out of the river, he licked the crumbs from his lips and said, Yum, yum, from danger you ran. You can't escape, foolish gingerbread man. Questions. Number 1. Why did the old woman make the gingerbread man? A. She was hungry. B. She wanted to sell it. C. She wanted to give it to her son. D. She wanted a child. The answer is D. She wanted a child. Question 2. What did the elf give the old woman? A. The gingerbread man. B. A cat. C. A dog. D. Magic liquid. The answer is D. Magic liquid. Question 3. Which is an ingredient of the gingerbread man? A. Flour. B. Corn. C. Rice. Or D. All of the above. The answer is, of course, A. Flour. Question 4. Which word best describes the gingerbread man? A. Supercilious. B. Arrogant. C. Smug. Or D. All of the above. The answer is D. All of the above. All of these words have very similar meanings. Well, that concludes today's short story. Maybe you have noticed by now, but foxes are usually the bad guy in Western fairy tales. That's because we view foxes historically as being sneaky, untrustworthy animals. And they like to eat your chickens too, so a bit of a problem. Anyway, thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.